Hey everybody, it's GombletX, and welcome back to another draft of Tarkir Dragonstorm. This is still part of the early access event, so thank you very much to Wizards of the Coast for providing me with this early access account. But without further ado, let's get into the draft. And we have been drafting late into the night here, so we're on the quick draft queues now. Been drafting so late into the night, it is now the next morning of the next day when they swap over to quick drafts, because there's not enough players still playing to keep firing draft pods. So we're drafting with some bots here, and then playing against humans for this last draft. So let's get into the draft. Love starting with monocolored and two-color cards early in the format, even though you do often end up with three-colored decks, at least splashing into a third color. It's still really important to keep just one or two colors at the core of your deck and stay flexible early when you can. So when you've got a really strong card like Hellkite that is monocolored, it's great to just scoop that up. So gonna do that here in the interest of, getting through this and getting the draft done still in a reasonable time. I'm not going to read every single card, even though I have not fully read everything in the set yet still. I just see a really strong rare. I can take that rare. So for pick number 2, one of the things to keep in mind with our Hellkite is that this format is based off of enemy color pairs. So red and white or red and blue are the enemy colors for red here. If we go red-white, we can end up in Mardu, red-white-black, or Jeskai, red-white-blue. And if we go red-blue, we can end up in Jeskai, red-blue-white, and Temur, red-blue-green. So if we take a card in a second color coming up soon, we would prefer, if there's two equally powerful cards, to take the white or the blue card to actually hit some of the clans pretty well here. So as we said before, white is one of those two colors we can take with Stormplane Detainment, but so is blue with this Roiling Dragonstorm. 2 mana, draw 2, discard a card, and then if you play any dragon, pick it up and do it all again. That seems really, really nice if you can recast this a couple times, and we already have one dragon in the deck. We can draft the decent common dragons pretty highly to go with the Dragonstorm to recast it over and over with the Stormshriek Feral, so I wouldn't mind that at all, the Roiling Dragonstorm dragon kind of combo deck as a plan. I think those are the best picks, Dragonstorm and Detainment, but we could also just play really, really safe and take Shock Brigade, a fine red common here sticking to one color. But let's try Roiling Dragonstorm out, see if we can draft a bunch of dragons and get the recasting going over and over. So for pick number 3, we have nothing incredibly exciting here. Could splash in a Frontline Rush if we're blue-red splash white for Jeskai, but I could also end up like red-white splash blue instead, and then actually have this as a really good 2-mana play instead of a late-game awkward splash. I don't think any of the currently on-color cards look particularly powerful, so we're taking something a little speculative no matter what. The Frontline Rush or the Formation Breaker, I guess. If we go Formation Breaker, we get to be like green, blue, splash red, but we have to splash double red to hit the Hellkite. I don't think this is very powerful in green, blue is the other thing. It works with all the +1/+1 counter mechanics, which are the Endure mechanic, which is an Obzone, green, white, and black, and the Renew mechanic in Sultai in green, blue, and black, where you exile a card from graveyard and get counters off of it. So green and black is where the counter deck really overlaps. This is kind of a secret green-black card. I don't think it would work really well in green-blue the way we're headed right now. So I'm just going to take the Frontline Rush. Pick number 4, well, a couple cards towards red-white Flurry. Just an aggressive red-white deck here, splashing a little blue. Trying to cast 2 spells in one turn to get some life drain going. Doesn't seem bad at all. There's also a Temur Monument for solid fixing if we go green, blue, red. I think the monuments are pretty great pieces of mana fixing for any slower deck in their respective clan, because you get to find your basic land that you need and then sack this and get a solidly sized creature later. Unending Whisper is really good at helping you flurry. Which is the main Jeskai mechanic. You're trying to cast 2 spells in one turn, so that's kind of cute too. I'll just take the Stalwart, get a couple cards into Boros. Pick number 5. Swiftwater Cliffs, very solid fixing we could take quite highly. The Bivouac, we probably take that over the Cliffs because that also has added flexibility of hitting green if the draft pushes us in a different direction, but it still gives us the same colors as the Cliffs, we just don't get the life out of it. It's also a Brushmaster, 2/4 double strike prowess, that can hit really hard, pretty easily. Would not be bad off the blue splash for a Boros-based Jeskai deck. Wouldn't be incredible though. It doesn't have any like enter the effect, doesn't have any evasion. So it might just like attack in once or twice, get trumped, and then get killed by some kind of removal. No extra flexibility of any kind. I'm gonna go Bivouac here and get the fixing. Pick number 6. We have Evolving Wilds, Thornwood Falls towards Temur, Dragonstorm Globe if we want to play a million dragons. There's a green removal spell. There is a blue Flash Dragon, which works really well with our Roiling Dragonstorm. If we want to draft a bunch of dragons to go with that card, then we're also drafting a bunch of dragons to go with the Stormbrood, a 5-mana 4/3 Flash Flyer, and all of our other dragons also have Flash. Let's take the Stormbrood. Dragon deck, let's go. Pick 7, green-blue dual land. A dragon counterspell is cute. I've got 2 dragons already, potentially taking more to go with our Dragonstorm. Or the Devotee just to go with Flurry seems fine. Also helps fix our mana. Boros, splash it a little blue for the dragony stuff. This fixes towards that blue. I like the Devotee here, but the counterspell is also cute. Pick number 8. Another Stormbrood. Flashing dragons all over the place. Sure. Pick 9, another Stalwart. We can kind of lock in on the Boros at the core then. Boros Flurry. Tranquil Cove. Take a duel over an Evolving Wilds. Pick 11. I actually have enough dragons that the Sentinel could actually be like a pretty strong play on like turn 5 after playing a Hellkite or something. Play this and get a land straight onto the board instead of to the top. And we're definitely not taking a green or a black card there. The Unending Whisper is really good at enabling Flurry as a 1-mana play. And the Serpent was fine in our previous Flurry-ish decks. Wingspan Stride, probably not as much. Pack 2, pick 1. Incredible, super efficient removal with statics there. I have absolutely loved this card every single time, so I'm really tempted to take that, but this rare is really strong too. Draw 3, discard 1, and flash it back, draw 3, discard 1 again. If I want to go hyper aggro here and just try to delete people, Static Snare is the best pick. If I want to grind out a long game super well, the Winter Night Stories is the best pick. Getting pretty tired here. It is about 1 a.m. right now, which is several hours past my normal bedtime. Kind of want to do the head empty, hyper aggro version of this if I can. So I'm going to take Static Snare over Stories. Sorry if that disappoints you, but I am sure we will do plenty of fun, splashy, and nonsense decks in the near future when I have more brain power to do so. So stick to our Boros core at this point. Just splashing in the big blue spells to top off the curve. Here's a Duelist to get aggro with, or a Twin Bolt to clear a path. We'll take the Twin Bolt on this one. Pick number 3. I like the Pack Beast, but we're not doing any mobilizing for it yet. So we don't have the most creatures on board ever, but this can be a pretty efficient creature for a 4/3 that also draws us a card. But there's the other Pack Beasts that also really helps give you all the creatures you need for that one. And it's just solid in the first place. There's a lot of good synergies for this card, so I'll take it. Sharpshooter is one of those good synergies. Turn 2 Sharpshooter, turn 3 Dalkovin Pack Beast is very hard to beat. You get 4 pings, well 3 pings a turn off of this thing. Plus the 1/1s might actually hit your opponent. Yeah, I'll take the Sharpshooter here, but all these cards are great. Kinguard would be good in this deck. River Wheel Sweep would be good in this deck. Another Twin Bolt would be good. Focus the Mind is solid draw. Incredible pack all around. Pick 5. Now that I have a sharpshooter towards working well with mobilize, I don't mind the 4-mana 3/3 that mobilizes. Red, a white, and 2. Yeah, I like this card with sharpshooter. Higher up on the curve. Am I moving towards splashing black instead of splashing blue? I don't have the fixing for that at all, which is a bit of an issue. But if I go that route, now I could play Butcher at 4, which is nasty. It's a 4/4 that attacks with 2 death touching 1/1s at the same time. Gives all of your other mobilized cards death touch. I'm going for it. See if we can't get the dream Mardu deck out of this this pod. There's the Twin Bolts. Copy number 2. Here's the Duelist. Still curving out, getting real aggressive. Leopard to stick to Boros as the core 2 colors. Although that black removal spell also, that actually does work well in Mardu. Because you sack your mobilized cards. There we go, there's a black piece of fixing. Towards the Butcher. Sweep is playable, even if we're Mardu. It's a red, a white, and 2. Tap, stun, something, slow them down, set up the exile to set up a flurry next turn. 4-drop. Alright, I got another pack to complete this Mardu deck. This looks super possible here. 2-mana 3/1 that keeps coming back pretty consistently seems great. Pack Beast is much better now that I have some other mobilizers, so that's good too. Oh, this also really helps you double spell with Flurry in the late game. Because you like attack in, trade some creatures off, and you definitely have another 3/1 in your hand. I guess that only works really late in the game, because it's 2 to pick it back up and 2 to cast it. So you'd have to have like 6 mana, play a 2-mana spell, pick this up, and recast. Okay, maybe not so exciting. This is probably great in Mardu. It's a solid +2/+2 lifelink hexproof trick to play around removal or win a combat that you could also just cast as your finisher as a flyer later. There's a lot of great options here. Pack Beast might be the best, but Stormbrood is also really cool. A lot of good stuff going on in this pack. I'm gonna go for the Stormbrood on this one. That's a lot of text. I'm not reading all that, but I'm playing it. Pick 3, Sun Pearl Kieran. Flash Flyer. You can bounce one of your immobilized tokens to draw a card, so just kill one of your tokens, draw a card. But you can also bounce something to save it from removal at instant speed, and bounce something if it has a really good enter effect as well. I've got a lot of good 2-drops, so I would be a pretty big fan of the Bodyguard in this deck. That said, if I can hit black pretty consistently, Stormsinger's been absolutely insane with other mobilized cards and just wide board states. This card would be so good with our Delkavin Pack Beasts. 3/1/1s dying every turn, that's draining for 3 every turn minimum. I'm sad these are both in the same pack because they're really, really similar cards. They're both just tremendously powerful 4-drop plays. I guess I've got literally one piece of fixing towards black. I don't want to overload on the splash here, so I'll take the Wayspeaker Bodyguard. It's still super strong. Pick 5. No removal. No, there is removal. There's Assault Road Skirmish. All right, well. I was going to say no removal, so Evolving Wilds is the pick, but there was removal. We do get a Pack Beast into the deck. I've got a lot of 4-mana stuff to do for an aggressive deck. Could be awkward. I guess Victor could be played at only 3. That's possible. Worthy cost is solid here, but I do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 good removal spells. I mean, I guess this is going to be like a 17 creature, 7 removal spell, 16 land deck. And I only have 5 non-creature cards right now. I want to up that count a bit. Yeah, 4-bear would be fine in here, but I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 2-drops. 7 if I play the Sentinel. We'll take the worthy cost. I'm a little low on mobilize for it, but it is still good. Okay, Twin Bolt's definitely better than that. I don't know if I have room for double Pack Beast because I have so many great 4-mana plays. Okay, Sunshield maybe not, but Bodyguard, Hellkite, Butcher, Siegebreaker. This is basically another 4-drop. I'll take Twin Bolt over it. Okay, this time I might take it over Rebuke. 5, 6, 7. I guess I could play Rebuke over Worthy Cost. That is probably slightly better in this deck. And Worthy Cost. Just the little bit of Mobilize we have. I don't think this summons is any good. But it is interesting. Seize Opportunity actually seems kind of fine. A nice flexible spell here. +2/+1 to 2 cards because we're pretty aggressive, or Exile 2, you can play them till the end of your next turn, so it's a draw 2 in the late game. This actually seems like a good deck for Seize Opportunity. Alright, so I have 17 creatures. I have Frontline Rush playing like an 18th creature most of the time, so I can cut one of them. I'm just going to cut the Sentinel. And then I still have basically a 17 creature deck, which is nice and aggressive here. Tons and tons of threats. Keep the curve as low as we can for the double Stalwart Flurries. We drop probably one land in one of our like 4 or 5 mana plays. The Sweep is also a 4 mana play. Or maybe the Seize Opportunity, because it's also a little narrow. I think I want to take a non-land card and a non-creature card and a land out of the deck. I'm not in love with this leopard, but at least it's a 3 mana play. This is like a 2 mana combat trick too sometimes. Helps it out. Yeah, I guess I'm gonna take the Seize out and drop a land. Probably a black source. 3 black sources for 1, 2, 3 black cards. Definitely would want more fixing here for this deck to be perfect. But I think these cards are so powerful they're worth the splash, particularly the Siegebreaker thing. 4 mana, 4/4, Death Touch Haste. Every time it attacks, you spit out a copy of one of your creatures that you exiled under it. So you exile anything with an ETB effect. Exile Pack Beast, spit out a 4/3 and draw a card off each attack. Exile a Hellkite, stun one of their lands every attack. Exile a Bodyguard, pick something up from grave every time you attack. Okay, yeah, this card is good. I decided I do need to read it before I run it in the deck, but that is some spice there. Yeah, I'm going to add another black source. We're going to have a slightly awkward mana base here. 7 white, 7 red, 4 black. It's not quite as high as we'd want to be on our main 2 colors in an aggro deck, but hey. "17 red cards, 12 white. Definitely deeper on red than white, so we cut the plains for the 4th black source. Call it a deck here, hop into the gameplay, and see how it does. Alright, here we are for game 1. No red source here is super bad for the hand. Any land does get us to the Pack Beasts, but if we miss on lands, we're in a very bad spot, especially without finding red. So I'm going to mulligan here. Devotee, Frontline Rush, Pack Beast soon enough. That's a keeper. Even as just a 2-lander, I think. Bunch of creatures towards the Pack Beast being pretty cheap here. Mono black from our opponent so far. Delta Bloodflies. We'll start them off. We have hit land 3 on curve. We'll play the Devotee. I don't really want to trade creatures off right now. I want to have as many on board as possible for our Pack Beast. So I'm not playing our 1 toughness card yet. Okay, Death Gorger onto the Bloodflies is quite strong. That's attacking for essentially 3 a turn now. Descendant's another really strong card, enduring every time it attacks, getting a 1/1 or a +1/+1 counter. Twin Bolt is a good draw, but I don't think I can afford to not just put creatures on board right now towards Pack Beast. So we're on Frontline Rush at instant speed here for the 1/1s. Ooh, if they make the 1/1 token off that, this Twin Bolt's going to be great. Oh, they do choose to put the counter onto it. I could have responded by Twin Bolting that and that, but then they guaranteed get the 1/1. It might still have been worth it, but I was really in the market of getting to this Pack Beast. That was the only guaranteed way to do it. Just getting the tokens there. Get a 2/2 off their big dragon. Yeah, Bloodflies is going real ham here. Card has exclusively hit me this game. I've taken 9 damage off that card alone. Another white source. A little bit of a tragedy here. Kill the lifelinker here to establish some kind of pressure on our opponent here. Get some swings back at them. Put them to 10, even out the life totals for a second. Once they crack back with the Bloodflies, that'll change right back to 11, and we'll be down to 8. If they have ways to kill these 1/1 tokens, they can even send in on the ground. They do not, they just play a Crocodile. So go to 8. Unfortunately, with only the 1 duel, this deck is going to have a lot of losses due to mana base. If we had the Black Source, this would probably be strong enough to push us towards the win here. Using this, copying Pack Beast. Oh yeah, that definitely would be. Because it'd be a 4/4 Death Touch Haste. We'd attack with it, get a copy of Pack Beast, and draw a card. If they trade with it, it dies, and then the first copy of Pack Beast comes back, and we draw another card. Yeah, definitely some of the risk that you take playing a 3-color deck, especially when we did not get enough of the fixing. We're dead in like 2 swings here. Really don't have attacks because the Crocodile's just going to spit out a 2/2 and then put another counter on the flyer. I think we just pass here for the most part. Still going to play that Duelist out though, so all my mana's untapped for anything I draw. We have the 1 stun a creature and then exile the top 2 cards. You can play them next turn thing. And if we hit that, I'm going to want all my mana up. Alright, they got some kind of big combat trick. You got me. I guess we get to see what kind of combat tricks are in the format for the future. Uh-oh. Something even worse. Oh no, they're just taking all the trades because they have card draw anyway. Ah. I am dead to any 2 creature spells from our opponent. There's 2 creatures off of 1 spell. That is dead. Crushed by the mana base, as is certainly going to be a theme for some decks in Tarkir Dragonstorm. We start off 0-1, heading into game 2. Alright, our mana base is not great, but the Forced Mole 2 games in a row is statistically real rough, even for this deck. Oh my god. The no white source on this one. Gotta keep one you gotta keep. Alright, beautiful first draw. We actually have a game here, but start both of our first 2 games down a card. Pretty sad. This assistant is really good, because trading into like anything is just a good deal for them. And I have to hold back here to try to just trade on blocks, I think. Well, now they have a 3/2 lifelink. That's not ideal. Or power lifelink plus gain 4 off of casting the removal. Take the trade, they make it 5 power, then I kill it. But it still gets the lifelink counter out of their grave. And they're at a bajillion life. Can't static snare it unless I try to do it on blocks when they have a bunch of open mana. Snakeskin Veil is in this format for hexproof at common, so you can play around Snakeskin Veil this way. As well as potential blue counter spells because they have the Palace. Alright, make a 3/3 lifelink, sure. Duelist and Devotee are just not good blockers for merchants, so I might snare it. Probably not. It's probably small enough. Even as annoying as it is, as pretty much impossible as it is for us to race, I missed a point of damage there. I should have played that in the opposite order. But as impossible as it is for us to race that 3/3 lifelink, if I snare that and then they play any rare whatsoever, just like any rare in the whole format, we just auto lose. So let's keep the removal if we can, and then I've got a pack beast that's big enough to trade into the merchant later. Alright, could still be in it. Pack beast trading to merchant means that we're actually pretty even on board and up a card in hand. As tremendously high as their life total has gone. If we can get the card advantage going for us, we can still grind out a long game win. So I'm going to turtle up here, play the defensive, and try to get ahead in cards. I've got another 2-for-1 here. Not exactly a 2-for-1 because it just stuns something. It will unlock eventually. But it does draw me another card. Okay, they've got no cards left in their hand. We trade into the merchant, they make the flyer bigger. I stun the flyer. And we go from there. I've got the Twin Bolt for the Earth Carver too. Gets a single +1/+1 counter if they sack the flyer here. Okay. They would rather counter our card draw to have that be dead forever, which is perfectly fine with me. 4/4 is forever gone. They're playing completely off the top with 3 cards up here. There's a 3/5 off the top. 3 mana Static Snare. 2 mana Twin Bolt doesn't do anything. I need the Leopard up to block the Earth Carver, so I just have to take its damage here. I can't, like, double block it. But I can hold Twin Bolt up here. We need them to miss on the draw steps, and they are hitting nothing but gas. Earthcarver Stormsinger is disgusting, because the mobilize for the counter. They have to attack with it to mobilize, though, which means I get to kill that. So if they miss on their draw step, I think they have to just sit there and wait. But if they just go like 3 or 4 spells in a row off top, as it looks like they have done, then it is really bad for me. This can become a 5/5 if they sack both of the other 2 cards. Alright, I'm out of creatures, but so are they on board. What did they draw? Nothing. Okay. I don't really care about the extra 1 point of damage for waiting on this. It's more damage to get it attacking immediately. The threats are just way too big. And they've only missed on like 1 draw step here. We have also, but I assume we're playing quite a few less lands than them. Not quite a few. 1 less land than them. To 2 for myself to kill that. And now we're just waiting for them to draw any creature to close it out. We're only at 4 life here. Super flooding right now. They're still at 5 million life from the incredibly explosive lifelink early game they had where they gained like 15 or something in barely any turns. So after all that, we've gotten them back to 20. I have no idea what that does, but it's big enough to be a big deal. Oh, it can get recast from the graveyard? Yeah, that's a pretty big deal. Big Flyer's a pretty big deal, too. Start hitting for 4 a turn. Five swings from a Stormbrood would kill them. It's possible 4 swings plus a little bit of Sharpshooter ping is enough. Alright, they just have the removal for the Storm Brood. They probably actually drew that earlier, and it was stuck in their hand because they didn't have a creature on board. So they actually hit a lot less flood than it looked like, because they actually also had that. I obviously can't take the 4, so I kind of have to get them on the finality counter here. Okay. They had that removal and then the removal there, so they really did not flood much. Things looked really nice when they just passed like 3 turns in a row, but it was like the removal that stuck in their hand and probably another one. So they just sat on it for a bit because their board didn't matter that much. Yeah, thinking that long makes me feel like they drew another non-land card of some kind here, as did we. Hopefully it's not good enough to just kill the Butcher, but we'll see. It is not. At least that one isn't. This is major damage with Sharpshooter. It's a 2-turn kill, I think. Yeah, it is. If I can get one more swing in with Butcher if they don't draw anything else. Goes pretty crazy. Well, the way the Devotee works is they just block the Butcher and put it back in their hand anyway. And then they don't get to crack back with it, but still. It makes sure that we don't kill them very fast. Yeah, no, the Devotee's actually pretty good here, chumping the Butcher over and over. We get a little bit of chip damage, but not a ton. But a little bit goes a long way now that they're down to 10. This game's gone on so much longer than it looks like after all of that crazy early game lifelink stuff. So... Menace is a problem. As long as I have a single blocker up, though, I just block the Devotee, and I survive with 2 life, because I just take 2 from the Menacer. Okay. Kill the Butcher. So probably don't have much in their hand. Here's the Hellkite. Do I have to destroy one with this, or can I choose not to? Because I don't want to thin a land out of their deck. I have to. I can't not do it. Alright, well, they're very unlikely to draw top deck another land here now. But maybe they still will. We have drawn well enough, and they've hit enough of a clump in the end game here that we got the life totals from like 30 to 4 to like 5 to 4. Oh my god. Turbo luck mode? Turbo luck mode wins us the game. Wow. They started that game swinging hard, kept it up for quite a while. Great removal there, slowing our comeback down a lot, but then we just kept drawing better from that point on. All right. Never in a million years did I think I was winning that, but we did, and we are 1-1 heading to game 3. This is going to be awesome. The one major flaw with our deck, as we've seen in our first games, our win and our loss, is the mana base. So an opening hand with all 3 colors, it's going to be very, very hard to get me not to keep that. And this one just has good early plays, so it's just a very easy keep. So we'll play a 3-drop, we'll play another 3-drop, and a tap land on turn 4. Mardu mirror match. I like getting the leopard down here and then using the victor to make sure that the leopard can attack in no matter what blockers they have up by giving it indestructible for the turn. So I know I can get one leopard trigger. Alright, 2 mana, 2/1 flyer, you got it. Probably discarding this Devoted Duelist, looking for something else off of Leopard's trigger. Reigning Victor. Could buff the Devotee instead of the Leopard to get more damage in here. Or I could just play Stalwart and hold on to the Victor still. Now that I have a Stalwart, I kind of want to keep the 2-drop. I kind of don't have anything I really want to discard. Yeah, I could see just going for damage here. Victor, attack both, take the trade. Or hit 7 here. Alright, take the trade. They're down to 16. Any basic and we get to go Stalwart plus Duelist, which is awesome. I've already got double red and the white that I need. Another Reigning Victor. Did not hit a land, but the Bodyguard's really nice if a 2-drop dies, so if the Devotee dies, I just pick it back up here anyway, and if they don't block it, that's just free damage. So I think we swing and play Stalwart if they don't kill Devotee, and play Bodyguard if they do. Bodyguard pickup Devotee leads into a really strong turn next turn, where I can guarantee the flurry for it and the Duelist. Tap one of their creatures, ping for 1. Feels pretty good. They are stuck on 3 lands. We're stuck on 4, which is obviously much better. But a 5th land would still be helpful to us to play a Stalwart and then something else to flurry with the bigger damage dealer. Alright, go for it. I got major damage on the crackback. I'll play around the 3 mana, deal 5 to something that's been dealt damage this turn. It's the Pack Beast as the play. That's rough. That works out real poorly for me. If that was what they wanted to play the whole time, they could have had that and then also had, you know, like the deal 5 here, and then we would not be happy. Okay, we're definitely doing the life drain to make it harder for them to kill us on the crackback. And they're at 3 life now. Duelist plus Skirmish, if I hit a land and they don't kill Stalwart, is just 3 damage right there. The Stalwart trigger is 2 damage, the Duelist trigger is the 3rd. Rebuke plus Duelist is also a really lethal board. Let's go for it. If they counter Rebuke, that's going to be really big here. Stopping us from double spelling is a big deal, but this is our only opportunity to. We have no other way to try to double spell. Okay. I mean, if this resolves, take something really, really good to stop this from killing them. Tapping a blocker, putting them at 1 life against all this. And this has haste too. Alright, show me like a crazy fog or something, I guess. This is 6 attackers. A single one getting through is lethal. And they have 1 blocker. Deal 5, gain 2 is a big start. If they have 2 copies of that, Oh my god, they have that plus 2 extra blockers? Does that live? No, it still dies, just barely. Well played from opponent, but real strong curve out from us there with all that flurry nonsense. And that's going to carry us up to 3-1 now. At least a 50-50 record no matter what. Pretty positive record. No, it's 2-1. It's 2-1. I'm tired. We're 2-1 heading into game number 4. But it's a positive record for now. All right, game 4, we are 2-1. No red source. I can Victor on turn 4 and do absolutely nothing else until then, unless I hit exactly red. It's the deck of mulligans for sure. The mana base is not good here. I am in pain. Start this one off with a 5-card hand. They start off with the leopard. Yeah, here's the duelist trade-off. Or get a couple points in. Down to 19. Ramp rare. They ramp up with a land on board, another land to the hand for later. We miss our land drop. Slam for 2. Drop Devotee. So what did they have at 5 mana to ramp into? A big old 2/4 that ramps even harder. We are about to have something super massive demolish our souls. And we're already blanked on the board. We can't attack into that. So I could have went Kieran and started poking for 2 in the sky over Sharpshooter. Bloodflies, Earthcarver, kind of whatever. Still stuck on mana here, so we just pass. I don't want to trade Kieran for this Bloodflies. Show me the bomb. Four, 4, and a 3/3 or a 7/7. That is pretty good. And then they can just flash it back and get another gigantic creature next turn while we are stuck on the tiniest little 2 mana babies. Yep. The 4/4 has reach, so we still have no attacks. I could 2 for myself to kill the 4/4, but that's really bad. think that was a pretty favorable combat for me in terms of killing as many creatures as possible. But we're just still on 2 mana, getting beaten down by 4/4s, so what are you gonna do? I have literal no choice but to chump. Alright, 2 and 2 it is. The pretty massive flaw of the mana base really rearing its ugly head in almost every game here so far, but especially the 2 losses. Take another peek at the deck before we head into what may be the final round. I really feel like the card quality is here between removal and great creatures on curve. That's the biggest difference between our second draft deck, our incredible S tier 7/0 Abzan deck, and this Mardu deck here, is that deck had 2 tri-lands and like 2 to 4 duels. I don't remember exactly. If we had that here and had a really perfect, really consistent mana base, this deck would be S tier, and this draft just really shows off the importance of taking those tri-lands and dual lands and stuff highly and having the fixing, because that difference in a mana base is the difference between like a 7/0 and what is looking to be a 2/3, 3/3, maybe 4/3 if we're lucky kind of deck. So we'll see how it wraps up for us. We are 2 and 2 now, heading into the next round. This will be round number 5, but one single victory at this point, or sorry, one single loss at this point, and that'll be it for this deck's run. Missing one of our main colors again. Again, we've had so many mulligans here, but that's because the mana base does not have as many sources of each color as we really need for this deck to tick. I'm going to keep at this point. We have Sharpshooter no matter what, and any lands get us to the Hellkite, regardless of the colors. Whatever colors we hit, we can get to Hellkite and Skirmish, which are both really nice later game plays. 2 non-land draws in a row is a very, very bad start to this hand. But if we hit the land on turn 3, then it'll be like we didn't miss any. We don't. We'll pass turn. The mana base is bad in this deck, but even for a bad mana base, we've drawn really, really bad land draws this run. Oh yeah, because that wasn't the white source. Just flash back their Harmonize thing, get another 5/5 by tapping the Devotee. So they get to attack with a 5/5 and play another one this turn. Or they got double Mammoth Bellow. Another not white source. At least we hit the lands. I can do things now. I can kill one of their 4 mammoths they get off of these 2 cards. That's insane. And then the Hellkite doesn't really block, so I guess there you go. Double Mammoth. Pretty good. Twin Bolt doesn't kill anything. Here's a Dargon. They hit us with that Jinx. Go to 6. Okay. 2 and 3 it is, this draft being a pretty huge cautionary tale for the format, which is good, because it's some good tips and tricks for us to take into the format when it launches tomorrow on Arena. Really need a lot of fixing to justify putting a bunch of the like third color of cards in your deck, especially the more aggressive you are, the more that it hurts to miss the right colors of mana in time. So this mana base was really rough. We needed a bunch of duels and tri-lands if we wanted to make this kind of deck function here. As again, the card quality is really high, but those mana issues absolutely cost us all 3 losses today, and hurt us pretty consistently enough to drag us all the way down to just a 2-3 run on this Mardu deck. So as much as this is a multicolored set, it is a 3-color set with all of the different clans of Tarkir. As much as the multicolored stuff is a huge aspect of the deck, you really do want to focus on primarily 2 colors. Make sure you have tons of sources of those main 2 colors so you can consistently be casting the majority of your spells, and you really have to take the fixing highly when you are doing more stuff, more off-color stuff, to play your stuff consistently. Because people are still going to curve out, they're still going to do great stuff, and if you miss on your land drops and you're playing nothing for a couple turns, you can fall behind really quickly, as we did today. Not to mention, you're going to have to mulligan a lot more with a rough mana base like this, and that can also cost you some games as it did today. So the cautionary tale kind of deck, obviously a bummer to end on a 2-3 run instead of another great 7-0 run like we did last time or anything, but it is nice to actually at least get some actionable tips out of this one, where this is really showing off what goes wrong when you don't take the fixing that you need to play the 3-color stuff. So it is possible, if not likely, that because we had a decent amount of fixing towards blue, the deck would have just been stronger. Like the black spells that we found were definitely stronger than the blue spells that we were finding, but I think the version of this deck that is red-white and just splashes a couple of just the best blue spells that we found probably plays better, just because that mana base is so much more consistent. We mulligan less often, we play off curve less often. So even though we're playing weaker cards in the other color pair, because the mana base is better, the deck is more better, the deck is more consistent. So there is definitely that to consider in your drafts of your own. But that is going to end today's video. As always, I'd like to thank my patrons and YouTube members for their support, as well as you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it and you're interested in seeing some more, you can always like, comment, and subscribe to tell the YouTube algorithm to send you some more in a recommended feed. If you'd like to catch me live, you can check out the Twitch channel in the link in the description below. If you'd like to support the channel directly, you can check out the Patreon link in the description below. But other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.